Roger, sir!
All right, listen up. I'm going to need you guys to fall in right quick. Do you want to know what separates a good NCO from a great NCO? Do you want to know what actually makes a leader worth following? Maybe someone that earns trust, someone that commands respect, someone that actually gets results?
Do you want to know what it is?
The answer to the Army is not about how many badges you wear, how loud you can yell. It's about the Army's core leadership attributes.
Correct. Absolutely 100% factual.
And those are character, presence, and intellect. So those aren't just like your regular old, like, I don't know how they say, like buzzwords or whatever it is. They're literally the foundation of every successful NCOER, every promotion, and every mission success. So welcome back to the Roger Sergeant Podcast, where we talk all things Army. And I'm your host, Sergeant Cruz. And today we're diving into 3 Army leadership attributes, and I'm going to break down what they actually mean. I'm going to break them down according to 623-3 and DAPAM 623-3 and what it expects from you and how you can document them in your NCOER in order for you to stand out a lot more than the rest. And stick around because I got some bullets, at least 3 bullets per section to help you crush your next evaluation. So first off, we're going to start off with character. And character is nothing other than our foundation of what ethical leadership is. It means just do the right thing. It means holding up the Army values. At the same time, you're finding a way to build trust with the troops. Yeah. So if you look at an NCOER support form and you scroll down to the bottom, the 3rd and the 4th page, they're going to have a layout with everything that you need to know on how to guide you to come up with these bullets. But I'm going to give you the crash course version. And then in a future video, what I'll do is I'll bring up a support form and I'll fill it out so you can see how it works. So it starts off with the Army values. And we all know the Army values is leadership spelled out. Another bullet point is empathy. Then another bullet point after that is warrior ethos and discipline. I'm going to give you some examples so you can have an idea of what this section should look like, right? And what to focus on. So the first bullet that I have is a mix of SHARP and EO, especially if you're rating an NCO that has those qualifiers. It's going to help them a lot. And it'll also, it's a mandatory bullet at the end of the day, but it'll also show that they're acting in that capacity. So for that one, bullet number 1 is going to be lead sharp training for 125 soldiers with 100% completion. Reinforced unit climate of dignity and respect, reducing EO complaints by 60%. And you see, if you notice how I took and I mashed sharp and EO into one bullet, and I also made it quantitative and qualitative. So you have to do that in order to have the best impact for a bullet. Bullet number 2, held self and team accountable to Army values. Mentored 3 junior NCOs on ethical dilemmas, resulting in 2 successful early promotions. Again, I have what I did and I have the impact of it and on who it actually impacted. Bullet number 3, consistently demonstrated empathy and respect during crisis counseling. Helped 2 soldiers seek behavioral health and return to duty. So if you can see, it has a mixture of the leadership, the empathy, the discipline, and the warrior ethos all mashed up in those 3 bullets, which captures that section. And because that's a mandatory bullet that you have to have for SHARP and EO, it's the basics, right? You learn the Army values in basic training. You learn the warrior ethos in basic training. So if you can be successful at the basics, next you'll need to work on your presence. So presence itself is all about how you carry yourself. It's all about how you display yourself in front of others, in front of your leaderships, in front of your peers. And this one has 4 bullets. It's military and professional bearing. It's fitness, confidence, and resilience. And Sergeant Major of the Army Weimer said it really good in one of the interviews that he has. He says audio has to match the visual. I did a reaction video to that said interview, and I'll ping it up here somewhere so you can click on it. But how you show up every single day, nice uniform, haircut, nails clean, boots, bloused, and looking semi-fit, you know, you don't got to be going to the gym like a gym nut, but you got to look the part, right? And this is all part of that section. And to drive the point home a little further, I'm gonna give you guys some example bullets, right? Just as promised. So bullet number 1, scored 545 on ACFT at morning PT sessions weekly, increased squad pass rate from 70 to 100% in 90 days. So if you're writing this for the AFT, then adjust as needed. But as you can see, I worked on myself, I worked on the squad, which works on the platoon, okay? Number 2, maintained impeccable appearance and command presence during BCT inspection, recognized by Brigade Command Sergeant Major for professionalism. Again, when you have what we call the dog and pony show up, everyone's going to look good. The command hallway is going to be all swept and mopped and buffed and all that cool stuff. But when you have an inspection by said individual and you show up and show out, typically they'll recognize you, and that's in some form of either a coin, it can be a AAM certificate, whatever it is, even a handshake, but it's still a recognition, a shout out. All that gets captured on the NCOER. Bullet number 3, demonstrated mental resilience during 18-day field operation, led platoon despite adverse weather and 60% equipment failure rate. Think about that. Everyone goes to the field. There's bad weather. And a lot of times there's a lot of equipment that fails. If you can still work through that and have a successful field operation, you're doing your job and you're making everyone else's job a lot easier. And some of them, you're making it harder because you're showing that it can be done. So it's a double-edged sword. But I do have a question for you guys though. Have you guys been taught by your leaders this, what I'm doing right now? If so, if you were taught, were you taught before or after you earned your stripes? Do me a favor and drop that in the comments below. Do me another favor and like and subscribe, share. If you're on the podcast, download, leave a 5-star review. Be the resource you wish you had when you were a junior soldier. And so speaking of resources, you can show how you use yours with the next attribute, which is intellect. So intellect in itself is your ability to solve problems, be innovative, and stay sharp. So there are a few ways that you can crush this section, to be honest with you. And you got to understand what they are, what the bullet points are in order for you to crush them. The first one is mental agility. Then you have sound judgment. Then you have innovation. Then you have interpersonal tact. And then you have expertise. Like I said before, here's some bullets that I'm giving you guys. I'm no expert at it, but here are some bullets nevertheless. Number 1, created a new medlog tracker reducing supply losses by 35%. And was adopted across 4 battalions. So you made your section better, reduced losses, which losses means money. So you saved the Army money. And on top of that, 4 other battalions thought it was so good, they also took it. Impact, qualitative and quantitative. Number 2, displayed sound judgment during a live fire emergency, evacuated casualty, and adjusted mission without loss of momentum. Now, you're like, well, there's no numbers there. There's none of that nature. If you've been to a live fire, if you've been to any range, if you've been to any type of training event, the last thing a commander wants to do is have a stoppage. And if you can take care of any casualty, especially a real world casualty, and that range not shut down, you've done something, okay? You've done something really good because you saved them time. Is everything, you shut that range down for 4 or 5 hours, you can lose sunlight or daylight, and now you have to move that table to another day. So it puts you behind. So that's the impact on that. Number 3, trained 15 soldiers on tactical combat casualty care, which is known as TC3, resulted in 4 soldiers qualifying as CLS providers during JRTC rotation. Now, as you're doing a rotation, you already know that there's a lot of stuff going on. And on top of that, you managed to train soldiers. And now those soldiers can go sit at said ranges. And now it's less manpower that you're using from your platoon. So the attributes of character, presence, and intellect are all important because they reflect who you are, what you lead with, and how you're judged when it counts. And that's your NCOER. You can do whatever you want, but when that pen hits the paper, it has to show who you are, what your performance is, and what your potential is. And the Army itself promotes off of potential, which is why the senior raider bullet is so heavily weighted.
Really?
Okay? So they're going to see what you do and they're going to see what you're capable of. And all of this time, you're building that resume. So when it goes to a decentralized promotion board, they can see who you are as a troop, the full soldier concept, right? And that's how they make their decision. So do me a favor, share this with your senior specialists, share this with your NCOs so they can also lead with a purpose and never stop developing, because that's my goal. And if you found this video helpful, check out my other video that I have on the NCOER support forum, and it'll pin somewhere around here. And remember, you don't have to embrace the suck if you got the right tools in your rug. I'm Sergeant Cruz, and I'll see you in the next one. You can fall out now. Peace.
Roger, Sarge!